Here we are, working with the Prime Minister as if he's my friend, man.
Yep.
You don't have an army in this country.
That's correct.
And you're walking just like that?
Just like that, no army.
Yeah. Your people love you.
Well, you're gonna serve the people. Hopefully if you do that, then they love you.
This is absolutely crazy and unbelievable, man. I mean, as a content creator from the continent of Africa, I've never seen our leaders being free like this. I mean, this is not campaign season where, I mean, our leaders go from door to door just to say hello to their people. No, this is not campaign season. He's literally in power and he just moving around saying hello to his people, making sure he knocks door to door. Can you believe it? Like, I have never seen anything like this before. I am super shocked, and that is why I'm here to share this moment with you all. And I want you all to do me a favor, like this video. I mean, I just want to put Grenada on the map just because of this.
Hello. I'm very good. How are you?
Very well,
Good to see you. I'm not sure if you remember me. I came here once with Hyacinth. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it was a Saturday morning. You guys were out. Yeah,
we were.
Good to see you guys. How are you doing?
I wish leaders on the continent can be this open-minded to embrace their people, because you are there to serve the people. Literally, that's what he's doing. This is amazing, bro. I think that the Caribbean feels so different for me. Anytime I come in here, I'm like, I don't want to go back. It's so peaceful out here.
No, that's what we want. The zone of peace. That's what we want to call it. To maintain here the zone of peace.
Prime Minister,
Hello, my dear. Good to see you.
Happy to see you in our lovely, peaceful community of
Western
Hall Point.
It's a pleasure to be here. You know, you're not leaving any village behind. You know.
Your people love you.
Well, you're gonna serve the people. Hopefully, if you do that, then they love you.
But I just wanna know, how does that make you feel, knowing that your people really appreciate you?
No, well, I mean, it's humbling because, you know, politics is a difficult job, and I think for a long time it would have been difficult to find young people like me that are being coaxed or pushed to get involved in politics, as opposed to someone who wanted to just get up and get involved. So, in a sense, when I did, I didn't expect that it was going to be an overwhelmingly positive response. So that has been humbling and inspiring. So at least we know the majority of people want people to serve and to be humble when serving. So far, so good.
Were you a politician before?
No political experience whatsoever.
What were you before then?
Lawyer.
Oh, wow.
Prior to that, teacher. Prior to that, student. You know, just a regular community person. Grew up in a village. If I look up in the mountains and I see the church steeple, I'll point it to you. Will you? And yeah, just got involved in 2021. Joined the party in the summer, became political leader.
So you could call me Susu. I will accept the Susu because I am going to help the people of Grenada to put the little one money together and ensure that we can give it to the next person and improve their lives.
End of October, had an election in June the following year.
What is the name of your political party?
National Democratic Congress.
No way!
No, yeah.
No way! How?
Sounds familiar, right?
No, how?
No, it is the National Democratic Congress.
What year was it formed? No, I just want to know the year it was formed, the political party.
So the National Democratic Congress is 37 years old, so it was formed not so long ago.
Should I say that it was inspired by National Democratic Congress from Ghana?
You can say that.
and the current president of Ghana is from National Democratic Congress.
That's correct.
Have you met him yet?
I've not met him yet. I'm hoping that I can get the opportunity to express congratulations to him on becoming president, and I want to actually congratulate the people and government of Ghana on having peaceful elections and smooth transition. You know, sometimes developing countries in the Caribbean, in Africa, and the South, other people say all kinds of things about us when it comes to democracy and human rights, and I think we're proving every day that we know what we're about. You know, that we can have elections that are free, fair, leads to a smooth transition of government. So I want to congratulate the president and his team and wish him and the people of Ghana all the best.
From my research, you don't have an army in this country.
That's correct.
And you're walking just like that?
Just like that, no army. We're not here to fight war, we're here to have peace. to make love, to be loved, to spread the love. So all of the people who are fighting, who's spending all of the Earth's resources on war, armaments, we invite you to come to Grenada. We can host you, give you the opportunity to eat some oilong, some saltfish, some plantain, some bakes, ponder the beauty of life and see how we can resolve our differences. You know, humanity is something we shouldn't take for granted. And as human beings, we kill so many of ourselves. I mean, look at what's going on around the world. For what? What difference does it make? So, and especially, you know, one of the things about war, they always send young men to their deaths.
Yeah.
And leave mothers, sisters, children fatherless, right? And certainly as a black man, knowing the challenges of our history, and the challenges still in the Caribbean of family and stable family, war is not something I support. And we've had our own bad experience here in the 1980s. I'm sure if you research our history, particularly in 1983, our Prime Minister and members of his colleagues were assassinated. By friends, by people who were in the same political organization and who allowed ideology and dogma, which were already imported ideology and dogma, to destroy the family, friendship, the brotherhood. Some of them went to school together, they grew up together. And as young men, this is a mistake that we can't ever afford to repeat. So we don't need guns.
So I just, also from my research, you declared the day or the year that he was assassinated as a national holiday.
Yes.
Why did you do that?
No, I mean, you can't have a sitting prime minister, regardless of your views of him, being assassinated together with members of the cabinet and not acknowledge and recognize that day. So for 40 years, we hid, we pretended, despite how painful it was, and we never acknowledged the day. And you cannot forget your history, or then you're going to repeat it. You cannot effectively pretend something tragic didn't happen and expect that when the risk of it starts arising in the future, that you will have the tools to deal with it. So the best way to grow is to confront the uncomfortable, to confront the painful, so that we can learn from it. We teach our children why it happened, and make sure that they themselves don't put themselves in a position where we do have means to resolve challenges that we have.
On the 29th of May 1944, God gave to us Maurice Bishop. He made the ultimate sacrifice for the people of Petite Martinique, Carriacou and Grenada by laying down his life.
So if we have differences in policy or views and so on, we should be able to find ways of compromising rather than saying the only way to do it is to liquidate the other person or to kill the other person. Because trust me, you're not going to solve the problem. And assassinating Maurice Bishop and the members of the cabinet didn't solve the problem, it worsened the problem. It led to a curfew, it led to people being scared, it led to people being in a state of fear, anxiety, pain for 40 years and counting, to people not finding their loved ones, you know, to an American intervention or invasion, depending on how you look at it. So it's been a very painful period for us and we have to learn from it.
His death was connected with Thomas Sankara from Burkina Faso. Do you also believe in that?
So, you know, Maurice was not just a Grenadian leader. He was a well-known Pan-Africanist. He was a brilliant orator for black people and for the liberation movements and for the right for people to choose their own political systems in the developing and third world. I mean, if you hear some of his speeches, for example, at Medgar Evers in New York, you'd understand why, for other people, he might have been seen as a threat. So it was a great loss, I think, to humanity, to the black world in particular. But the beauty about life is, you know, you could be immortal if you do what God sent you to do, and I think that was his calling. His wife is still alive. If you hear her stories about the sacrifices he made, about his incorruptibility, his refusal to take pay or money or stuff from people he helped as a lawyer, you'll see this was someone who had Grenada at heart, first and foremost, not himself. He could have been a brilliant lawyer, he could have made a lot of money, he could have lived a safe life, but he essentially risked it all and paid the ultimate sacrifice for the country. So we have to appreciate that a lot of what we have today is because people like him would have made the sacrifices against all odds. So.
Bro, I feel like you are redefining leadership. You don't think so?
I mean, I don't think about it. I think for me it's about service. It's about making sure that we demystify service, because to be a politician, you essentially have to serve. We want to encourage Grenadians to be comfortable and confident that it's okay to actually get involved in politics. Whether it's at the leadership national level, at the local community level, at the parish level, at the constituency level. Because that's the only way you're going to build your country. It's not going to be by some robot. AI might help, but the bottom line is you have to have people who care about the country and who are prepared to make some sacrifice for the greater good. Almost every African country is 10 times larger than Grenada. And when you have large countries, obviously you're going to have some of this. So I think what has to happen is in larger countries, especially in developing countries, leaders have to find ways to make sure that even if they may not be accessible on a personal basis like this, that there's genuine opportunity for them to hear from the citizens and be responsive to the needs of the citizens. So whether you're a governor, whether you're a mayor, whether you're president or a prime minister or minister, I think that's critical, because at the end of the day, you know, your children, your grandchildren are going to be living in the country. So to me, if you get involved in service, you should at least have the intent of saying, I want to make this better for my children and grandchildren who are coming after me, and for my friends' children and grandchildren who are coming after me. So, you know, my job, I think, or if I have any advice for any leaders, regardless of the age or the country, particularly in the developing world, is really to make sure that you have an opportunity. There's technology, you know, you can do stuff on virtual platforms, you can do town halls, you can do community meetings. You should engage with your people, not just at the election time. You know, because a lot of times you find that the ideas, that's why I'm doing this. So you see me here walking this community.
It's not because there's election coming on.
There's no election. And by walking the community, you discover the people, their concerns, their interests. Most people don't want anything necessarily, but they want to know that you are there to represent them, to hear their concerns, or to take their advice, or sometimes, as in this case, to just offer you a refreshing Mandarin and a drink. So I think sometimes we lock ourselves into thinking people always want from the politicians, when actually what they want is oftentimes the knowledge that you are there to represent them, and are you prepared to listen to the issues that they have, or the concerns, or the suggestions, or the recommendations. And that's, in a sense, a large reason for doing what we do in terms of visiting people, knocking on the door, saying hello to them. And to be honest, my view is, if I only do this at the election time, you're entitled not to vote for me. Because then it's a gimmick, you know. I'm only doing it because they say you have to do it if you want to win an election. So to me, if you elected someone as your MP, and 5 years, 60 months have passed, and they come back only around election time, I mean, to me, they're taking you
for granted.
So in those circumstances, to me, the results should be obvious. I mean, you walk with us. What is so difficult about knocking on the door and saying that?
Yeah. Oh my goodness!
Visit us in Grenada.
Wow!
Well, you see, you've got the main man here. I was just
hi! That's
using
so
the
beautiful.
opportunities. Yeah.
You guys are blessed, eh?
Right. Now we want to share the blessings with our brothers and sisters. So please invite them to come over.
I just want to tell you all, it's about time for you to visit Grenada.
Grenada nice, Grenada nice, Grenada nice.
Welcome to Grenada!
Oh my goodness! Trust me, when you come, you get a chance to meet the Prime Minister. I'm not promising you that, but he's always walking around somewhere, so you definitely bump into him. Right. But I'm just telling you, we're just one people. I mean, I am here and I don't even feel like I'm in another country.
You're home. You're home.
I feel so much at home.
You're home.
I love your outfit, by the way.
Thank you. You know where I got it?
From where?
The coast. I went.
You went from Ghana?
Rainforest.
Rainforest, Kakum National Park?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It rained for quite a while, about 3 hours. So I was soaked, so I had to get new clothing. And this is why I'm wearing this in tribute. I knew I was going to run into you somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Grenada is small, so I wanted to make sure that
I'm so glad you are represented.
I represented. So.
Yeah, do you know the name of the cloth you're wearing?
No, I'm hoping you give me a little education.
I can't tell you that, so let's leave that for the audience, man. You brought the richest black man in the entire world to Grenada. How does that make you feel?
No, well, first of all, I think, you know, he's an amazing personality. Even if we discount his phenomenal business success. So it was really an honor to have him. And I think the key reason for bringing him was to have the fireside chat so that he can inspire the nation, particularly young people. And I think he did an amazing job at that. I was inspired. I think the entire audience was inspired, and we have technology to show people the things he said so that he could continue inspiring black people and young people in particular in Africa and in the diaspora. So it was a phenomenal experience, and I want to take the opportunity again to thank him for agreeing to do this on behalf of Grenada.
Do you believe in African solutions to African problems?
Absolutely. You know, a suit made for you is not going to fit me. And the reality is the challenge that Africa faced. It has a unique history. You understand, in particular, the period of colonization, the continued discrimination that many African countries face, whether it's in terms of international financing or just international policies that are meant to continue the exploitation of the continent, requires all of us, not just Africans in Africa, but Africans in the diaspora, to make sure that we give ourselves the best opportunities to solve our problems. And so it's absolutely vital for us to understand that no one is going to come to save us. I say this all the time. We have to save ourselves. So absolutely, I believe in that.
Oh, thank you. You said like the Prime Minister. I made it in life. How do you intend to bridge the gap between Africans living in Africa with Africans living in the Caribbean? I mean, you're the leader of CARICOM.
Former chairman.
Former chairman.
Yes,
but as a former chairman, how do you intend to bridge the gap between Africa and Africans in the Caribbean?
I mean, we're doing so already. The fact that you are here in Grenada, the fact that we're doing this interview, the fact that we had President Benedict Kurama, the distinguished Mr. Aliko Dangote here in Grenada, tiny island in the Caribbean, with prominent Africans, talking about the challenges that we face, using Africans to inspire people in the Caribbean. We have to, and I said this before, a lot of the independence movement that started in places like Ghana were inspired by people like Marcus Mosiah Garvey, the Right Honorable. So we recognize that that connection is strong. We need to renew it, we need to strengthen it, we need to rediscover it. And the truth is this, I've said this repeatedly, you know, Africa must be strong for the black diaspora to be strong. And until that happens, we in the diaspora will also be challenged, right? And so we need to make sure that our economic connections, or trade, or travel, or tourism, or leisure, or science, even our police and military, or security apparatus is designed to protect black people everywhere. Because I think we know that when black people are in countries where they are not the majority, what happens in terms of the treatment they meet, the discrimination they face. And that is only going to change when Africa as a continent and all of the countries of Africa are strong.
Is there any similarities that you found when you went to the continent?
No, absolutely. We could just start with things like food. You know, we love plantains here. You know, whether it's Nigeria, whether it's Ghana, the plantains were always. I'm just using that as an example. You know, the spiciness of the food. You know, the music, the drum, the dance. I mean, you know, obviously Afrobeats is global. So there's no question about that. The similarities are you look like me, I look like you.
Exactly.
Right. So I mean, and we know what our history is. So I think we just need to make sure that we continue doing so, continue using the platforms that we have. That's one of the great advantages of technology, that we can bridge the divide a lot easier, and make sure, you know, a lot of the things we've inherited, we've just continued. You know, in Grenada, you fly to London, you fly to New York. In Africa, you do the same, right? But it's time we start flying directly from the continent to the Caribbean.
About Africans across the globe watching this video, your final message to all Africans across the globe?
Simple. Africans are beautiful, we're strong, and we need to stay united to make sure that we can continue rising. I think we are, in essence, I would put it this way, the remaining continent that needs to rise to its full potential, so the next generations of Africans can lead the world.